It's good to have newcomers as well. You have to start at some point. Meditation is anyways, everybody's a beginner. The mind is always different. My mind was different this morning, and half an hour ago is different what it is now. So there's no first timers in meditation. Everybody's a first timer. Even me as a monk, I'm supposed to be knowing what I'm doing. I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's just guesstimate something. So meditation really, there is a few teachers who say everybody's a beginner in meditation, and there really is how it is. Even as a sort of, if you've been meditating for a bit longer, always remember that you have to be like a beginner in the meditation. Be somebody who's interested of your mind. So when you're interested of your mind, then whatever happens, whatever you continue, you take from today, or you take from what happened last week, this year, throughout your life, and those are the things which you carry in your mind, and you carry them into this meditation. You just have to be able to look at it as like at the first time. You need to be interested about these things. If you are more seasoned meditator, and you go into it and you sit there and you just just dull out, it's not a good way to do it either. So if you have been here longer, or if you think you've been meditating for a longer time, try to bring up the interest into the meditation. And if you're a first timer, you don't really know what's going to come up when you're sitting quietly, perhaps. And that's actually a good thing. I almost feel jealous of people who are starting new sometimes, because it's interesting, naturally interesting when you do something new. It's interesting to look what happens. Oh, these things happen. Oh, you're like, yeah, okay, great. I don't get that anymore. Especially after way over 10 years as a monk, like a lot of interesting things have disappeared. In the beginning, in a meditation, when you're starting meditation, there's all kind of cool things can happen. I don't know why it disappears. I remember when I was a young monk, even these things where sometimes you're sitting there and the body starts, you feel like, sorry, my nose seems to be a bit itchy. Your body sometimes feels like it's like expanding. It's like you're sitting there quietly, and your body starts almost like levitating. It was like, should I open my eyes? Am I levitating now? Oh, it's interesting. But those things, for some reason, they disappear. So when you're starting, it's really cool. But meditation is something you look into your mind. And what does it mean to look into your mind? Like I said, whatever it's in your mind, you're carrying it from the day-to-day life. It's not, you don't really, your mind doesn't change. You're just now looking into the mind. You just perhaps, you have a lot of things in your mind, but we tend to push it aside, or we don't pay attention to that. There's almost like a parts of our minds which we don't have time to look at, we don't dare to look at it, or it's just somehow not interesting. But when we close our eyes and we sit there quietly, these things start appearing. And that's another thing which seems to, what happens when you keep meditating longer, few weeks, months, years, you start seeing that there's a certain kind of patterns. There's a certain kind of things what always come up in your meditation. Your mind works in a certain way. And obviously it changes. Sometimes you might be happy and you're inspired and the meditation works well. The body is calm, and you just, for some not obvious reason, the sit is easy. And sometimes for not obvious reason, the mind is not very calm. It's just like something is disturbed the mind, and you're just carrying it along, but you can't really put your finger onto this. What's the problem? What's the problem here? For example, last week I'm just now getting better from a flu. And last week I have a bit of a flu, and I was just like, I couldn't figure out, like, why is my mind so all over the place? And only when I got better from that flu, I realized that seemed to be that it was affecting my mind. So there is a connection with your mental health, your bodily health into your mental health, so to speak. But also with your meditation, your mental health affects your bodily health. So sometimes it's interesting, we do these things where we sit here quietly for a while. And then afterwards, I always want to do this reflection because I was taught to do it by my teacher, Ajahn Brahm. Always look into your mind, into your body and in your mind, what has happened. And when you're doing that reflection at the end, I encourage you to look the positive things, what's happened in your mind and your body. I keep forgetting that. So when you look at the positive things, what has happened in your just sitting there quietly, the body somehow feels more healthy. That's one prescription you could give what the body feels like. You might not feel that much, and sometimes like, well, I don't feel anything. That's fine, but at least you tried. But it's interesting. Just sitting there quietly seems to have this profound effect that the body just seems to be aligning itself, and it feels healthier. And the same with your mind. When you give your mind some time, the mind somehow feels healthier. And that's one of the things what happens, what's the key benefits of actually meditation, is that you're actually doing something good for your mind. You are creating a healthier mind for yourself. It's interesting that it's just sitting quietly, just looking your mind, what's ever running around, and don't get too preoccupied with it. You don't push it away or you don't hold it. You're just sitting there quietly. First, it's easy because we do the guided meditation. So the mind always wants to have an object. So here we have guided meditation. So you start following my teaching, when I'm guiding the meditation, you start following. It's easy. You start. Hopefully, you never know how I'm going to teach today, but hopefully, it was going to work well to you. Easy to take the object as the guided meditation, my voice, so to speak. So I try to create a load of images in your mind, and it's like then your mind goes there, it relaxes the body first, and then you start looking into your mind. And hopefully the mind starts calming down, and then you start going into that quiet space. And the mind maybe starts drifting along, but try not to get too worried about it. And then if you allow the mind to be calm, it's almost like you give the mind space. And if you are allowed, if you have enough trust, or if you have enough faith, so to speak, if you have enough patience with your mind, it's like a little doggy which is running around. I always like to go for little walks here, and you go to the doggy park, and I just really enjoy looking at the little dogs running around. It's one of my favorite things to do when I'm here coming to the city center. I really like to see the dogs running around. And it's like a dog, just like go running around. And then when you just sit there on that bench, they always come to you. The mind tends to come to you. The mind starts calming down. It cannot be running around for that much longer. And then you start seeing the calming down starts happening. And then from that calm, other things start appearing. You start seeing more clearly. So that's the process what happens. But the key thing there is not to do that much. So what you should do during the meditation? Don't do anything. Surely there's a method, this madness. No. Just don't do anything. Don't get involved. That's the instruction. Some people go crazy with this. Just tell me, how should I be doing this? I'm sure there's going to be methods. And like, nah, it's not me. Go somewhere else if you need to have those kind of instructions. But I come from this kind of method where there is no method. The best thing is to not to get involved. That is the best thing. That's the fastest way. And that is the way to really to relax. If you want to have deep meditation, the method is just allow things to calm down by themselves. It's like a simile of a water. If you have a cup of water in front of you, if you try to hold it really tightly, it won't calm down. And if it starts calming down and there's waves in it, what are you going to do? Start pushing it around? No. What are you going to do? Create more of waves. The best thing is not to get involved. Allow the waves and the ripples in the water to dissipate themselves. That is honestly the best way. You're not going to believe me, most of you. You're going to get involved. Don't come complaining to me. It's your own fault. You getting involved. But try that as much as you can. When you have try to have a inquisitive mind. Just have positive mind. It's like, this is just how it happens. My mind goes running around. But at least don't get aggressive with it. Don't think it's like, I have to stop my mind. I cannot stop my thinking. Try to have a little bit of wisdom in the back of your mind. Okay, if I'm now going to be aggressive with it, what I'm going to get back? Am I going to get back of, positive energy from being aggressive? Am I going to get back happiness from that? Like mom tells you all the time, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. What are you going to do? And I say, I'm just going to do it because mom tells me otherwise. Don't be that nagging mom all the time. Or dad, I don't know. Dads tend to be controlling as well. Don't do that. Be that kind of person towards your mind where it's sort of like, it's all right. It's very easy to get into this kind of negative habit of trying to control our own minds. You should be somehow in charge of your mind. But try not to be. I was thinking of like a simile for the meditation. What are we really doing here? And just came to my mind, it's like meditation is like growing a bush or a tree. You need to plant something and then allow it to grow. Keep watering it. And eventually something comes out of that. But it usually takes time. And you don't just plant trees for yourself. We all know that when you're planting something like a tree, it usually is the next generations who are going to benefit from that. But hopefully this doesn't, your meditation practice doesn't have to take 200 years to get some roots. But meditation is a little bit of, there's some truth to that. So meditation is like, we keep doing this practice and it takes a bit longer than one meditation. It takes a bit longer than a couple of weeks. It takes a bit longer than a month. But when you plant something, you keep planting this. You plant it first, to start the meditation, and you keep at the practice. Whatever that looks for you, other people will start benefiting from you, from your practice. So other people will smell the roses of your practice as well. It's not just you benefiting from that. Your children will benefit from that. Your husband or wife will benefit from that. Your co-workers will benefit from that. So just remember, you're not just doing this for yourself. So that hopefully takes a little bit of the pressure from your meditation practice away as well. You benefit obviously from this, but others will as well. So don't give up because others depend on you, especially their partners quite often. They can see that you are getting some kind of benefit from this. And it's a little bit like the Maybe another simile, it's like building a muscle. If you go to a gym, you need to keep going at it, at there. And you can, is like, once you build the muscles, you think it's like, okay, I've got my six pack now, and okay, I can stop now. No one is going to be that silly to think that way. It just doesn't work that way. You cannot just go to the gym, build up your six pack, and that's fine. Okay, now my gym days are over. It doesn't work that way. So that's another reason why you need to keep coming to the meditation classes. You need to somehow have some kind of practice for yourself, whether it means 5 minutes at home before you go to sleep, or 5 minutes lying there before you jump out in the morning to start brushing your teeth. Just lying there, okay, you're awake. Instead of start going and it's like, oh, look at the news. I'm just 5 minutes, I'm lying here, feeling how I feel in the body. And that's a good practice. It's as good as anything. Get these kind of things, these kind of practices. Another thing which I quite often I recommend for you, if you're walking the same route every day, from your car park to the work, from your home to the bus station, the same routes every day. What you can do? Try to do walking meditation. Instead of just walking mindlessly, so to speak, instead of worrying about what's going to happen today, could you just walk from home to the bus station, or the home to train station, or from car park to work? And it doesn't have to be even that long. But if you do a certain kind of walking every day, try to do walking meditation. And what would that mean in practice? Just pay attention to your feet. Get into a habit of every day I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this thing. And this is what we call the body awareness. These are all then supporting factors. The body awareness, for example, mindfulness of the body, is then supporting your, what do we call this kind of meditation we're doing here, this kind of formal meditation, sitting meditation. Why does it support it? Because you get a little bit of glimpse of freedom. You realize you don't have to be in your head all the time. And you realize what a relief it is not to be in the head all the time. It feels really nice not to think all the time. In the beginning, it might be, let's say this walking meditation might be a bit forced. It's not going to work. But keep at it. Every morning, you're doing the same thing. And if the walking doesn't feel natural, you feel conscious about it, can you brush your teeth mindfully? Every day, we brush our teeth twice a day. 2 minutes, twice a day, with 2 centimeters of toothpaste. That's what I was taught. 2 minutes, twice a day, with 2 centimeters of toothpaste. Hopefully you do the same thing. But when you're doing that 2 minutes, could you do it mindfully? Just brushing the teeth. So how do you feel the brushing the teeth? For me, that doesn't work. For me, the walking really works. And that's what I like to teach that. I have a certain kind of thing where every morning I walk, I need to walk from my hut in the forest and towards the breakfast place where we have the breakfast. So I always try to pay attention to the feet when I'm walking. Just get into this kind of habit. So these are the other ways of not just doing what we do here, but they all support this practice of meditation. I think that's enough talking. Waffle, babble. All right. Should we try to meditate? See what's in their mind? Good luck. You need it. All right. Just joking. So, first of all, always we take time to make sure that we're comfortable. And that means you need to wiggle your bum. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. It's not going to be overtly long meditation, but you need to be comfortable wherever you're sitting. What are we trying to do here? Keeping the body relatively static is the word I was looking for. And that way you don't pay attention so much to that. And then if you feel comfortable, relatively comfortable, close your eyes. Now that you close your eyes, feel a little bit more of your body. Is it really, like really comfortable enough? Let's take a little bit longer to stretch the body. Ooh, after the day's work. And move the body a little bit. One thing where then there's quite often tension is around your neck. The neck holds up your heavy head all day. So just stretch, move around your head a little bit. Make sure your neck is comfortable. And it relaxes the muscles around the neck. Same with your upper back and your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are a little bit of relaxed. And if your phone is still on, now is the chance to turn it off. I can hear beeping. But now that you feel that your shoulders are a little bit more relaxed around your neck, then let's start a bit more formally relaxing the rest of the body. Can you feel your feet underneath yourself? Your legs, rather. Can you imagine what the toes on your right foot looks like? Just imagine your toes. You know what they look like. You've seen them so many times. And also feel your toes on your right foot. Can you give them kindness? Just relaxation, the toes on your right foot. And then if you move the attention from the toes with the kindness all the way to the ankle on your right foot and everything there between the ankle and the toes, just imagine that foot, but with kindness. Is there anything there you need to relax? And you feel your leg on your right leg from the ankle all the way to your pelvis. Can you allow the right leg to relax in its natural way? With kindness, that is the key for everything. And then if you go from the right leg into your pelvis, can you imagine the pelvis, the pelvic bone inside of you? allow the pelvis to relax. Going down then on the left leg, from the pelvis down towards the knee, and from the knee down into the ankle. Can you feel the whole left leg is now relaxing? Give it kindness, the same way you did to the right leg. And if you take the image from the left ankle down into towards the toes on your left foot, and then if you pay attention, even the small places, like that smallest toe on your left foot, imagine it, give it kindness and relaxation. What's the feeling there? If you just linger a bit longer on that small toe on your left foot, is there coolness there? Warmth, pressure from the floor? What about if you pay attention to the next toe? The one next to it. Does it feel different than the small toe? It's interesting, isn't it? Even that one you can give kindness and relaxation. What about the middle toe on your left foot? Can you differentiate the feelings? Just think of it with kindness, with kindly eyes. Imagine the middle toe. And then go to the next one. And the big toe on your left foot. Even relax with kindness the big toe on your left foot. And hopefully your both feet and your both legs are now starting to be at ease. And then if you come back to your pelvis and then move your attention up a little bit into your tummy, you can just breathe into your stomach. Can you just relax your stomach for a while? Relax, relax. There's nothing you have to do. And then if you pay attention to the lower back, allow the lower back to find its natural curvature. The body will take care of itself. Just however the body wants to be, allow it to be. So make sure the lower back and the middle back find its natural place. And if you pay attention, then your shoulders. Just allow the right shoulder to relax. The right hand is pulling down almost on the right shoulder, relaxing it more. The same with your left shoulder. Allow it to come down. And the left hand is pulling down the right shoulder. And if you're going down from your left hand all the way towards your fingers in your left hand, your hand is resting softly on your lap. And all of your fingers on your left hand are nicely and softly in your hand, cupped naturally. And same if you go now to your right hand. Can you feel your thumb on your right hand? You imagine the thumb on your right hand. Can you give it a bit more kindness? What about your index finger on your right hand? Feel it, what it feels there. And give it kindness, a relaxation. And the same for the middle finger on your right hand. And instead of rushing around, thinking you know what comes next, jump over to the little pinky finger on your right hand. Relax, relax. And hopefully everything below your neck is starting to be at ease. The body finds its own natural posture if you allow it to. And then can you pay attention to your face, the muscles around your face? Is your tongue resting softly in your side of your mouth? Are the muscles around your jaws relaxed? Give them kindness, those strong muscles around your jaws. What about the muscles around your eyes? Allow the wrinkles to ease. And same with your eyes. Can you feel the right eyeball in the socket? What does it feel in your right eyeball? What about the muscles behind the right eyeball? The muscles which actually allow us to see all day. Can you even relax those muscles? And what about the same with the left eyeball? What does your left eyeball feel like? Can you allow it to relax? Allow it to be soft in there. And the muscles behind the left eyeball. Allow the muscles in your eyes to relax. And then your body starts feeling like it's supporting itself. It's slightly less weight. It's almost like it's in the sea of calmness and kindness. Can you notice that when you're sitting there, the body is breathing? You're sitting there, the body is supporting itself in a kind, warm water. But the body is breathing. There's a certain kind of movement. Look at the movement. Almost it's as if it's like a wave. It's not yours. The body breathes without you having to do anything. Just only observe it with kind eyes. Just pay attention to the movement of the breath. I will give you now time to be with it. The mind goes drifting. Allow it, but have this relaxed attitude. And maybe he wants to stay with the body, with the movement. The breath comes in and leaves the body. getting close to the end of the meditation. One more time, bring your attention to your breath. Your mind is a bit more relaxed now. You will stay with the breath for 2 more minutes. Can you see how beautiful the breath is going in and out of your body? Now move your attention back into the body as a whole. First, observe the body, breathing. Can you feel the whole body breathing in and out? And then if you feel the body as a whole, as a unity, the body is made out of many things. Can you see there's a harmony in this body? Can you see there's positive effects happen to your body in this meditation? And then if you feel your mind, does your mind feel slightly more at ease than it did before we started meditating? Does your mind feel slightly more quiet? I will now ring the bell 3 times. Please listen. All of the 3 gong strikes all the way to the end. After that, please open your eyes, but please pay attention to the noise. And that is the end of tonight's meditation. Very good. Okay, so I guess we're going to go to the questions.
Yes, thank you very much, Ajahn. Just before the questions, a quick few announcements. Just a reminder, there's another guided meditation here tomorrow night with one of our lay teachers. That will also start at 7:30. And we are starting to run meditation retreats at the Sanctuary of Stillness, the meditation retreat centre at Newbury Buddhist Monastery. There is one, is it this weekend, Ajahn?
Yeah, there's going to be a very good teacher this weekend, but I heard it's already fully booked.
It is. It's actually Ajahn Mudito is leading the one this weekend. Unfortunately, that is booked out. We do have some places still available for the 9-day retreat.
Ajahn Brahmali's, is it?
With Ajahn Brahm.
Oh, that's cool. It's going to be a really good retreat.
In April. So if you're interested to go on a longer retreat.
That's the Easter weekend, isn't it?
At Easter weekend,
cool. Yeah.
With accommodation there and food and everything included. You can get the details on our website, bsv.net.au, or through our newsletter. Also, if you want to practice more during the week, you can join an online group for morning meditations and evening meditations. There's more information about that on our website, and again in the newsletter through a Discord platform. So there's a group that sits each morning and in the evenings, and often they are led by a monastic. Just quickly, next week, the guided meditation will be Ajahn Vimoka from Thailand.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be quite an interesting one. He's got a very individual and unique teaching style. So he's going to be our guest teacher next week for the guided meditation on Monday night. Are there any questions here in the hall? What we'll do is we'll alternate between questions in the hall and questions from the online audience. So if you have a question here in the hall and would like to start, just you can raise your hand.
Thanks. That was a really lovely meditation.
Oh, good.
I was looking forward to coming this evening.
Great.
When I was thinking about the walking meditation, which I quite like, but I often find myself counting as I go. I just involuntarily actually just bring myself
Counting the steps, or?
Counting, yeah. I wondered what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. It's a very... the mind naturally tends to do those kind of things, like it anchors you perhaps a better. So it's good. Might as well. I mean, it's okay to do, and it's a very natural thing to do, and it's like a lot of people do that. And it's interesting actually. I know one monk from Thailand, and he's a good practitioner. And then he said every morning when he goes to the alms round, his monastery is within Bangkok, and he goes to he walks the same route every day. And he said when he goes to the Pindabat, when he goes to the alms round, he starts walking and he starts paying attention to his feet, and he did say the same thing, and he starts counting, and he said around 1,000 steps. He said he loses the count, and then he feels like he's just floating along. So that's I could imagine. He said he's almost like he's not doing the walking. The walking just happens, and he said he just floats along the rest of the Pindabat route and ends up in the monastery. So yeah, so even people like that, with strong practice, they'll do that. So counting is all right. It sort of adds a layer into it, which is fine. It doesn't naturally come to me, but naturally comes to you. Just continue. For me, it's almost like I just keep bringing it back into that kind of like the steps. It's just like how the movement of the legs are, or what do I feel underneath the feet. So that's for me is natural. So whatever works, it's fine. Yeah, good. Counting is good. And let's do one online. Then we get the microphone back.
Thank you, Ajahn. What is the difference between meditation controlling the mind, mindfulness, and meditation just seeing things as they are?
Right. Okay. So in the reason we don't call this concentration, sometimes this meditation is being translated as or we use a synonym of concentration. And concentration is the one where you're controlling your mind. That's where you can get concentration, and you can get quite concentrated. So I know some people have that kind of practice, and you can get quite concentrated. You can it's almost like you're crushing the mind with mind. And but it doesn't lead into the quietness of the mind. Really what we're aiming here is just allow it to sort of the ripples, everything just smoothen out. If you're controlling, if you're aggressively doing something, like some traditions teach that, and I don't honestly believe that anymore into that kind of method. I cannot see that it would lead into letting go, into calming down. But who am I to say that those are wrong practices or people shouldn't do that? But I cannot see that would lead into calmness of the mind and letting go. But look, perhaps in the beginning it can be done, or sometimes you have a lot of strong things in your mind. If you have anger, for example, the tendency there is to fight the anger with an anger. But it only takes you so far. So you can use it, but try not to get into a habit of you're in this constant struggle or fight with your mind. I don't know. That's what I've been taught, and I was the same thing. I was always when I was being taught meditation 20 odd years ago, when I started, every group I went to, they always teach you there's, okay, you calm the body for a while, and then you go into the breath. Okay, go back to the breath. Your mind starts wandering, go back to the breath. What should I do? Go back to the breath. And why don't I teach it, or why Ajahn Brahm doesn't teach it? Obviously, I learned it now from Ajahn Brahm. We try to make this, I use the word static. Your body needs to be comfortable. You need to make your body comfortable. Why? So it becomes static. It's calm, soft. The key thing with this kind of static, something which is not moving, is this. If you're at home, for example, and you have a refrigerator going, it's humming, or, an aircon unit. You hear the hum. It's a constant hum. Perhaps you hear it for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then you cannot pay attention to something which is not moving. Only when it gains, it turns off. You pay it, it stopped. Then you're like, oh gosh, it was so noisy here. Right? Sometimes those, like the air movement, it's quite the puffing noise. It's quite noisy. But you only can pay attention to that like when the movement happens. That's the only point. But then when it stopped again, and then it's like 1 second, 2, 3, 4 seconds, you could pay attention to that quietness a little while, and then again, it cannot stay in your mind. It's static. If something is not moving, you cannot pay attention to that. And the same with the body. If you can get it nice and just enough relaxation, just like it's good enough. This is a good posture for me. You don't have to pay attention to that. There's not a lot of too intense pain there. What happens? It starts disappearing. It's not, what would be a good word for that? It doesn't bring the attention to that all the time. It's not so restrictive. It sort of fades away, disappears, dissipates. What happens with your mind if you do the same? This exactly same thing happens with your mind. So what's in your mind? Thinking. How do you stop the thinking mind? The problem is there is you. Who's doing the thinking? I'm not doing the thinking for you. You do the thinking. You keep going, looking for those thoughts. You hold them for a while. You make more out of it. And then you get new one. They don't just come out of thin air. You create those because you want to exist. You think you get bored. All of those reasons. But once you learn to be relaxed with it, the thinking mind, those thoughts, they come, but you're not paying so much attention to that. And you start getting this kind of quiet moments, bit of a static moments there. And from there, what appears? What's moving? Moving. It's your breath. It's moving. And then the breath is interesting. So when they teach you all the time, okay, what should you do? Go back to the breath. My mind starts go wandering. Go back to the breath. What do? You're creating activity. Is the breath interesting when you try to hold the breath like that? You're holding something which is, breath is honestly a very subtle, very difficult object to hold. It's not interesting. When you go home and you watch your favorite TV show, it's interesting because there's a lot of movement, there's music, there's sounds, all that. It creates this interest, there's movement all the time. Breath itself, how boring is that? Until it's not. The breath stays with you because it becomes interesting. Everything else calms down. The breath then appears from that because it's movement. Mind always looks for something which is moving. So allow those moments, the breath to appear from that. It's difficult. I must admit, I know it's difficult, but that's the only way the breath will stay with you. It's to have that kind of calm mind and the breath appears from that quiet moment. You can go a little bit looking for it, but don't hold on to that. Then it stays with you. I have no idea how I went to this. Was that even a question? But I just gave you a long explanation of something. But let's take another question.
Thank you for that meditation. So this is my first time here this evening. I found the first part when you were kind of talking through it, my mind didn't wander as much and I was able to stay with it. But then the second half where it was more left to our own device in a way, I kind of went a bit on autopilot and then more thoughts from, say, earlier in the day were cropping up. In regard to kind of getting started, would you recommend listening to ones where it's guided throughout?
Yeah, it's more, the good thing about guided meditations that personally I cannot do it anymore. Like for me it's the opposite now. Like I'm so used to being by myself in my heart, and I go, and for me it's frustrating because I just don't want to follow somebody's guided meditation. My mind doesn't want to do that anymore. So for me it's the opposite. But in the beginning it's really good because the guided meditation, again, mind wants to have an object. Mind wants to, it goes for somewhere. And if there's a teacher like you find that you can follow the guided meditation is easy because that becomes an object, and it's almost like a storyline a little bit. You keep listening. The teacher, reminds you, like, okay, go in here now, and then that storyline takes you there. And the mind, that's your object. Mind always needs an object. So that keeps the interest enough, and then it starts. You start calming. The body starts calming down because you're giving the kindness. But eventually, not even that. I mean, just a lot of people enjoy these year after year, and they just keep coming to the guided meditation. So it doesn't mean that in the beginning, but eventually, hopefully, you can get into this kind of space where, like, you feel comfortable of just being there with the mind, just by yourself. But yeah, guided meditation, absolutely. And there's different kinds of guided meditations we do, whether it's loving kindness or body awareness. There's many, many different kinds that we teach, and different teachers teach different things. So yeah, that's good, and that's the reason, because it's just easy to pay attention to the guidance, so to speak. Yeah. No worries.
Thank you, Ajahn. There's another question online. In fact, there are two more questions online, so let's see how we go with alternating. Dear Ajahn, during meditation there was a song continuously playing in my head. Any suggestions to help with this? Thank you.
Right. How to tune off the song? It's difficult. Sometimes it's there, and sometimes they tend to stay there. I have this, unfortunately, I don't know why. I have one Metallica song in my mind. It comes year after year. It comes. It's from Metallica Battery, and it just keeps coming to me, and especially the drum. So the drum notes, they just keep coming. I was just actually talking to Ajahn Sadhu about it, and he knows the song really well as well. But so we tend to get these certain kind of songs, and they come. The only guidance I've got from Ajahn Brahm is that you try to take it to the end. Just try to end it as fast as you can. Don't keep at it. So, like, sort of fantasizing about it, adding more into it. Just try to. It's like, okay, the song is there. Just take it to the end. That's what he told me, or taught me once. So don't add into that. So. That's the one thing. Music tends to be one of those things, very, very strong, potent thing, and that's why music evokes memories, and music is there. Like, that's why we remember things from the childhood. Music is such a strong thing, so it's no wonder it's such a big thing of every society, music. But sometimes they come and sometimes they don't. Just, be with it, or try to take it to the end. And same goes with the thoughts sometimes as well. You can try to take them to this thought comes to me, just take it to the end, the point of that thinking. It's like, and then what, and then what, and then what, and then it's like, well, that's not very interesting. And sometimes it helps to stop. Okay.
Any more questions here in the hall? I might just finish with the last question here, Ajahn. Thank you. Dear Ajahn, is there any value in contemplating the existence of two distinct voices in my head during meditation? On a few occasions, I've heard them conversing, and one sounds like an oppressor, while the other sounds oppressed. They both feel like me. They seemed panicky when they noticed me being aware of them and hastily booted me out of the meditation.
Right. With the conversation, whether that's how you describe it, whatever happens in your mind, the best thing is to don't give it too much value. So devalue your thinking mind. That's a one way of, you don't have to do it just meditation, even day-to-day life. Devalue your thinking. Once you start looking into your thinking mind, you realize that's not very good. Well, maybe it's just my mind. But a lot of my thinking mind is just same kind of patterns, and you go over and over again. You go through the emotions, and it's just not actually very useful. I know people who are very strong meditators. They are perhaps done this for a long, long time. They don't have a lot of thinking mind, even the day-to-day life. I know people who say that they think when they have to think. So try to understand that sometimes the more you think, the worse things are. You just tiring yourself out. So devalue your thinking. Don't trust your thinking mind too much, especially while you're meditating. That's a one thing. Just say like, that's not very interesting, or it's like, that's not useful. Just devalue thinking. Sometimes Ajahn Brahm uses like similes, like you could watch it like you would watch a movie on the screen. It hasn't really worked for me too much. I understand, I can feel the simile, but for me the best way it has worked is to just to look at it. It's like, nah, it's not good. I'm not. It's either very boring or it's disruptive. It's not good for my mental health to see those, keep ruminating on this. So I just try to devalue it, not to pay attention to that. And then they disappear a little bit. Or completely. All right. That's it. Nice to see everybody. You're not going to be seeing me for a long time. I'll be gone again. I'm going back to WA. So it was a pleasure to be here again, and nice to see you all. And please continue with the meditation practice. It's good. Keep watering your flowers.